Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchtime series, proudly powered by leadershipbydesign.co, where we aim to add value to people's lives. You can listen to us live every Wednesday and Thursday at lunchtime on ebizradio.com, where we talk everything leadership, coaching, and marketing. And you can catch the Lunchtime series on all your major podcast channels today. In our marketing and leadership segment, we've got our marketing communications expert and co-host, Craig Paisley. How are you doing, Craig?
Kevin, I'm great. Yeah, good to be chatting again. God, it just feels like we spoke yesterday. It's how quickly this past week has gone. But yeah, it's wonderful to acknowledge that we're in the 125th show today, Kevin. Can you believe it? 125 weeks of consecutive shows under the belt, obviously excluding the short year-end breaks we've had the past 2 Decembers. But yeah, great to be here. And how was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. I'm just want on that note that, Craig,
Yes.
the only time we actually took a break from the show was the December holidays. But other
That's right.
than that, we've committed, come hell or high water, in different continents, in different places, on a boat, we've been all over the country and half the way through the planet to have the show. And we stick to it every single week. It's one of the most dedicated option like things that I do in my life.
Yes,
Other than
defer to that.
breathe. But yeah, weekend was good, Craig. I watched the rugby. I must tell you.
That's fantastic.
I knew that we would have this conversation, and I wanted to ask you. Don't you think it was a little bit? I'm like, okay, so their play was exceptional. They were in their half of their field most of the play, right? They were in their half the whole time, which was amazing, but it almost felt like a little bit too easy.
That's Kevin. Again, that's such a great point that you make. You know, talk for a rugby for 1 minute. The reality is the Springboks started with the same intent that the All Blacks did a few weeks prior when they beat us so convincingly in Pretoria.
Yeah.
So they came to neutralize, and that seemed to work. That said, there definitely are some areas of work that need to be done in the Springbok team. I am really concerned that when they do punch it through our back line, that the likes of New Zealand in particular, and probably France, incredibly fast, and they really got good constructive play-making ability when they're on the right foot. So yeah, it was one of those incredible games, and I honestly, having been very close to South African rugby at one time in my life, I did not expect that at all. It was a phenomenal game. The 7-1 split of replacing the entire forward pack, excluding the number 8 position. I think that was the first time in the history of the modern game, that replacement strategy has actually been deployed. So it was a good game to showcase some of our strengths. I think there's still some areas of development required, but it was quite easy for the Bucks. The rest definitely not going to be that easy, but it's wonderful to see that.
I will. It seemed easy, right? It seemed easy that they actually got to score the way they did. But with that said, they were exceptional. The pressure was on from the moment the whistle blew. They were, it was just exceptional rugby. It's the kind of rugby that you live for. That's the point. That's
100%.
the reason why I would watch rugby. When you're playing at a national level, it's not that committed and it's not that fierce. But when you see it like that, I really have a love for that sport, because you can really, it's a beautiful sport to really see playing at that level at a high performing team. That to me was a brilliant high performing team, and they knew exactly what the other person was going to do. And some of the sort of interjections that they had, and the one try that they scored, all of it was just well executed rugby. I think I was blown.
Absolutely. What it does is it's thrown the sort of predictions out a bit for some of the bookies. that done and said, the critical thing for me is the 10th of September is probably the most important game of the year for the Boks. They have to win the opening game against Scotland.
Yeah.
And then the next big one is not to diminish the capability of any of the other guys in the pool, but the opening game against Scotland is vitally important to win, and then the game against New Zealand, at least Ireland. If we can win our pool, the chances are we won't meet New Zealand in the quarters, which is a good thing. Because we're Pool A and B are really the toughest pools, and we're in the tough end of the draw. So we really need to win our pool. If New Zealand win their pool, then we play number 2 in that pool, and New Zealand plays number 2 in our pool. That inevitably that could be Ireland. Okay, and we need that to go through, because we don't want to be playing New Zealand again in this World Cup. That's a fact.
Yeah. Our 5 cents on the rugby.
Yeah.
Great. So, I mean, as we start the 125th show, which is congratulations, I must thank you for the efforts that you put behind this, because you were a big driver in this. So, if it wasn't for you and your expert approach to educating us in the way that you do, none of this would happen. So, thank you for that. I mean, what are the key takeaways that we do have from last week's conversation, Craig?
Kevin, so as a reminder, last week we covered 2 articles on the topic of employee experience, and the article that I'm going to reference for the reminder points today is titled Employee Experience Trends 2023. The article was published by Zendesk in Q3 2022 and was compiled by the findings of a survey of more than 370 employee experience leaders, agents, and technology buyers from 20 Northern Hemisphere organizations. And the key references are noted as follows. Technology is the connector, and the digital transformation strategy is essentially in enabling scalable operational efficiencies and controlling costs. By balancing employees' needs and the organizational challenge, technology leaders can actually design the digital experience that allows their teams to collaborate seamlessly, irrespective of where they work from. And to this extent, the internal workflow optimization really will make the day-to-day work less stressful and more productive. The article also highlights a few key areas of growth in 2023 for employee experience and technology leaders as follows, Kevin. So it first says that build the modern and secure digital solution to enable hybrid and flexible work across locations, teams, and functions. Onboard more of the advanced EX capabilities, like the AI chatbots and intelligent options to help employees service lean internal teams. Importantly, measure employee feedback and satisfaction. This will help leaders make more data-driven recommendations on how to improve the engagement and productivity. And modern organizations that want to retain their best people and protect their bottom line will definitely need to keep up with the competition and invest in modernizing the employee experience. An important point there. And those are the key reminder points from last week, Kevin.
Fantastic, Greg. So what do we have in store for us today?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to today. So I want to move from the employee experience to the customer experience today, Kevin, and specifically looking at some of the trends that have actually been shaping this particular topic throughout 2023, and then close on what some of those highlights are moving into 2024, Kevin. And to set the context here, let's just quickly take a quick look at the definition of customer experience here. So according to Wikipedia, the customer experience, sometimes abbreviated to CX, and I'll often reference it as CX during our chat today, is the totality of cognitive, effective, sensory, and behavioral consumer responses during all stages of the consumption process, including the pre-purchase, the consumption, and the post-purchase stages. According to Oracle.com, customer experience, or CX, refers to how a business engages with its customer at every point of their buying journey, from marketing to sales to customer service and anywhere in between. And in large part, it's the sum total of all of those interactions in the company that a customer has with your brand. And then lastly, Kevin, according to bloghubspot.com, as you know, one of my favorite sources, customer experience is the impression your customers have of your brand as a whole throughout all aspects of the buyer journey, it results in a view of your brand and impacts factors related to your bottom line, obviously including revenue.
Craig, what's interesting about this is if we look at the state of the nation and we look at the state of the economies of the world right now, in certain sectors, in certain sort of segments in business, it's sort of, you've reached the max potential of, so if it's insurance, that's all that insurance can offer. There's not more to that, right? And then also, if you look at the financial institutes, for example, FNB compared to ABSA, for example, they start tweaking on such minor little details and kind of going, what else could we potentially be doing for our clients and our experienced customer? But the fact that you mentioned, I think, that, in the first one, it's a cognitive, affective, sensory, and behavioral responses.
Yes.
That is such a spot on part of what customers really need to experience. And I think, F&B sometimes gets it wrong, very wrong, in my opinion, but there's a lot that they do that is really spot on when it comes to that part of customer experience. It's a convenience that you can have in your hand that works. And I look at the app, and the app is, compared to other banks, it's difficult to compare to other banks because other banks' apps don't work as well as F&B's app does. And to me, that speaks directly to the customer experience, and using that tool is like level 10. And that's
absolutely,
it outshines.
But to that point, and I like that comment, because there principally three key reasons why businesses proactively manage and invest in this proposition of customer experience. And here's some stats for you here. So, 42% of businesses suggest it's to improve customer retention. 33% of businesses suggest it's to improve customer satisfaction. And obviously, if you're not getting the satisfaction aspect in place, you're definitely not going to get the retention measure in place. And lastly, 32% suggest it's to increase cross-selling and upselling. And obviously, that's direct value to the bottom line. But the important point to note here is that it's a unified experience. This is paramount in achieving the impact on the bottom line, Kevin. But what's quite interesting is looking at the intersection of last week's conversation of employee experience and today's conversation of customer experience. That sweet spot of where the two concepts meet is actually where customer engagement happens. And this really is the ultimate test for a brand, as it highlights firstly what the brand stands for. It highlights what the brand does and offers. It highlights how the brand remains attractive and relevant to target audiences, and how the brand builds healthy and desirable customer relationships, which ultimately helps entrench loyalty, Kevin.
Yeah, and again, because one of my immediate go-tos is when the market is saturated with, as much as you can offer, the next best thing you can do is the customer experience.
Yes.
Because that's what will ultimately seal the deal, whether someone goes with you or goes with someone else.
Yeah. And again, another build on that point, and a direct reference to a key point from last week's conversation, is that a company's employees are the ones who actually directly interact with customers and therefore shape the experiences. It's therefore important that improving the employee experience is critical to enhancing this overall customer experience proposition, Kevin.
So, referring to employees as well, who plays a role in determining customer experience, Craig?
Yeah, it's a good question, Kevin. Multiple employees across the organization play a role in customer experience. And I'll just cite 5 or 6 examples here. So, for instance, product development teams need to ensure that the product actually meets customers' expectations and that the products provide and deliver the value for money of the expectation. Sales teams, on the other hand, actually set the expectations during the sales closing process, eliminating any false claims or overpromises. Marketing teams, on the other hand, generate the qualified leads by sending the right messages to the right prospects at the right time, especially when the prospects are in the right state of mind to engage with and consume the product. And, again, the adage that I use is marketing is the sales enabler, so most definitely key in the customer experience proposition. IT and technology, on the other hand, they provide seamless user experience across all of the digital touch points. Customer service teams actually put the customers first. They solve their problems in real time. And Kevin, finance teams manage the invoicing and payment processes with customers. So you can see that in general, broad spectrums of employees across organizations actually have a role to play in and have an impact on the customer experience.
And what's interesting about that is when you break it down like that, you kind of go, those are all different teams, but yet all vital roles for the customer experience to have the best experience.
Absolutely.
So anything from the technology failing to the finance not paying out, or the marketing not getting the messaging right, all of that is encompassing of how the experience would happen, and that begets like great leadership. Great leadership would have all of that in place and make sure that the experience of that is across the board, and that plays in a deeper role, I think, as well.
Very much so, Kevin, and that's why more and more of the larger organizations these days actually have a customer experience officer or manager, because really any failure in any one of those territories or areas of a business could be disastrous to loss of a number of customers, not just one.
So what are some of the trends that you're going to share with us today?
Kevin, I want to share the findings of an article that I came across on meltwater.com. The article was written by Lance Concannon and is titled The Greatest Customer Experience Trends 2023. The article was published in Q1 this year, 21st of March 2023. And again, just to set some context for people who don't know, Meltwater provides software as a service solution, and interestingly is the world's first online media monitoring company. So the article opens with the following statement. It's important for business to keep up with customer experience trends, CX trends, so that they can provide the best possible service to their customers. It's the key to engaging your current customers, attracting new ones, and giving them what they want. When done well, your customer experience innovation may give you a competitive advantage compared to brands that have fallen behind the times. Every year brings new advancements in technology, as well as the evolution in customer expectations and digital transformation. Then the article goes on to cover 10 CX trends that were identified to carry from 2022 well into 2023. And these are firstly listed as omni-channel experience, the rise of chatbots for the 24/7 customer service, more self-service options, predicting analytics for turning data into insights, virtual assistants to address customer experience talent shortages, interesting point that, augmented reality as a customer experience trend, data-driven marketing for hyper-personalization, and hyper-personalized experiences, really, really important point that, customer loyalty program investment, customer data transparency, and the good old metaverse as a battleground for customer experience.
Yeah, Craig, I'm just looking at some of this now, and I'm just thinking about the conversation we had before this about like working with a brand and what are the things you could do to make things better.
Absolutely. So to that, yeah.
Virtual assistants to address the CX talent shortage. Like it would be so fantastic if you had an option. And I'm like, off the top of my head, I'm thinking, if a brand had virtual assistants who you could phone, who could help you, get your something improved quicker, or you have a whole, and you don't need anyone to be in an office. They could just be virtual, or you could have someone on WhatsApp. And some companies already have the WhatsApp option.
Most definitely, but the concierge kind of proposition coming to mind there. But definitely, there's some stuff revealed in the article on those that are adopting it at this particular point.
Yeah.
But so let's to look at each of the trends. I want to start with trend one, which is the omni-channel experience, and here we learned that the customer journey path is becoming less predictable, as it's no longer a linear process, as many customers have multiple touch points with the business before they even make that final decision on product purchase and consumption. And, it's multiple touch points across different digital devices in different environments. So no matter, how, where, or when the customers actually choose to engage, companies really need to ensure that the experience is as seamless as possible. And this being the essence of an omni-channel customer experience. So as you migrate from where you started your search, whether it's on desktop to mobile, moving to another point when you get home, you go back to desktop or mobile, what of that search journey and information seeking stays relevant and follows you from one screen to the next and one mind state to the next as well, Kevin. Point two is at least trend two is the rise of chatbots for 24/7 customer service. And here we learn that obviously service is a competitive advantage, and it is becoming a really important topic in customer experience. And one way that brands can absolutely compete is by offering customer service support 24/7. It does, however, go without saying that chatbots are an ideal way to provide a solution, as they can engage with brands' customers in real time, any time of the day, anywhere in the world. And companies that are already using chatbots are using them for the following reasons: answering questions, providing keyword-based resources, offering product recommendations, troubleshooting problems, and collecting customer feedback and other data points to really augment a view of the customer. The chatbots can also use artificial intelligence technologies like NLP to analyze customer sentiments during these interactions, a very important understanding of customer mind state. And this allows brands the opportunity to develop a deeper understanding how their customers are feeling about their support options and the actual problems that they're trying to solve, Kevin. Trend three is more self-service options, a point that you picked up on a short while ago. And here we learn that constantly, there's a growing number of consumers say they actually prefer these self-service support options over human contact, demanding quick answers to their questions or needs without actually having to wait on hold or help from support services. I must admit, I'm on the other spectrum. I prefer to talk to human beings. We note that 70% of consumers say that they expect some form of self-service support on company websites. This can take place in the simple form of FAQs, some knowledge-based consumer discussion forums, or similar kind of resources. The consumer discussion forums are really important to have in place. Trend four is predicting analytics for turning data into insights. And predictive analytics is a form of artificial intelligence, and it makes predictions about unknown future events. And it uses different techniques from the likes of data mining, which we've spoken about, to modeling, to machine learning and artificial intelligence, all to analyze current data and make predictions, more accurate predictions about the future. And certain data actually reveals that 73% of customers expect brands to take note, understand their needs, and deliver personalization in a way that matters. But more importantly, Kevin, I saw that 62% of customers say that they actually expect customers to anticipate their needs. Very important point to know. And predictive analytics helps in redefining the future of the customer experience. Moving to trend five, virtual assistants to address customer experience talent shortages. Kevin, many companies are still struggling to fill those key roles that were lost, not only due to the COVID pandemic, but also to that surge in silent resignations or quiet quitting that's happened over the past few years. And this definitely has played a huge impact, or had a huge impact, on how organizations are or not able to support their customers and deliver on those customer experiences, expectations. And one way to fill this talent gap is actually to utilize the expertise and support of virtual assistants to take on different tasks like customer support, social media management, or research. And companies can leverage this remote workforce by tapping into these resource chatbots and self-service options when they are not available. And this definitely helps companies to remain competitive by having enough staff available across the world in real time to provide the support when and where it's needed, Kevin.
What's interesting, Craig, you mentioned anticipate their needs, and I think that speaks to a large part of what CX really does for a brand is And I think this is, it ties into the book, the Wings book that's coming out that I've written, that you have to constantly be in you sort of endeavor to seek what is the future hold, and
Yes.
anticipate what is going to come up, because change, as much as you can speak about it, and as much as people know that, change is always going to change, it's always going to change, until you get that as a cultural DNA part of of how you do business, you won't anticipate, what the needs would be. So, I think that's that speaks to such a big part of what CX needs,
And
is, clear anticipation of what could potentially be the next thing.
yes, and Kevin, this is where conversations and relationships with customers is so essential, because if you're not having the conversation, you're not getting to understand the changing needs in real time, and you're not getting to get to workshop with them to see what the future may hold. So it's not just around conversations with customers. It's also plugging into the likes of futurists who are actually doing that as a career, that they're really getting to understand what are the future trends that are driving and moving the dial in different areas of customer experience. So organizations really need to be plugged into multitude areas of trend watching, trend spotting, and having deep conversations with customers and consumer bases to understand in real time what their wants and needs are, and how they're changing.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, just one of the things, I've been watching a TikTok influencer, South African a girl. She's hilarious. I'll share some of this TikTok with you. But what she's recently done, and finally, I think Mercedes-Benz has noticed, because they've now sponsored her, I'm assuming sponsored her a Merc to drive around and, showcase this new Merc that she'll be driving for a while. But they've actually used her because she's an influencer. And I'm going, that's kind of going, you're tapping into a market where, a lot of people are, and they're just using an influencer to kind of support, to showcase, and she's going to town, showcase, how wonderful this Mercedes-Benz is. I think it's like a new launch of one of the actual brands, and but it's tapping into that need and kind of going, you could be this person, and you can be cool like this, because she's hilarious, and she really, makes it count, and she has, I think she's one of the only South Africans that have over 1 million followers.
Oh wow, that's
It's,
incredible. Wow.
it's
But
crazy.
if the brand behind it did find her through the means of social listening, that's fantastic, because they really are then beginning to understand what some of those shaping needs are, and using the right individuals to plug into. I like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kevin, trend number 6 is augmented reality as a customer experience trend, and we've spoken about AR a number of times, but it's potentially one of those customer experience propositions that are going to continue being explored as technologies and digital transformation advances. It's definitely going to help add context to products and services, both in person and online. And again, as previously mentioned, augmented reality can help customers make much better buying decisions and actually try products before they even purchase them. And this can lead to benefits of fewer returns, obviously happier customers, and even referrals and recommendations, which is what brands are looking for. Trend 7 is data-driven marketing for hyper-personalized experiences, and I really like this particular proposition. It's the big topic of analytics and data that actually plays an important role in marketing and the creation of these hyper-personalization experiences, with data being key to understanding the customer's needs and wants and delivering solutions that actually meet customer experience, at least expectations. And as I say to you, that's where brands really need to be social listening and plugged into futurists and understanding where the needs are going to evolve to. Better experiences can obviously lead to increase in customer engagement, better customer loyalty, and obviously best customer satisfaction. The toughness and stringent data privacy laws that everybody is experiencing the last few years definitely has led to a point that marketers need to leverage their own data much more effectively, and they actually need to source publicly available data to create this ultimate customer profile and view of the customer. Using third-party tools for social listening, as I mentioned earlier, and some consumer insights platforms can definitely help these companies fill gaps in their own data sets, Kevin. And I came across three interesting statistics in another article I read on this particular proposition, where it says that 59% of customers say that personalization influences their purchase behavior. 65% of customers say they are more likely to shop with a retailer that remembers their name and purchase history. And 78% of customers will engage with offers if they are personalized to their previous engagements with that brand. So definitely hyper-personalization is a key driver of customer retention and customer experience. Trend 8 is customer loyalty program investments. Loyal customers aren't just repeat buyers, Kevin. They're also advocates for your brand and become some of your most powerful word-of-mouth marketing partners, which I quite like as a term, word-of-mouth marketing partners. The more they promote you, the more cost-effective your marketing efforts become. And what keeps customers coming back is all about the experience. And as we know, a bad experience can drive even the most loyal customers away. And, it costs a lot of money to try and bring a customer back in. It's important to ensure that your loyalty program meets customers' needs, is easy to take advantage of, and provides real value, Kevin. Second last trend here is great customer data transparency, another topic that really has been discussed a few times with us. Before that customer expects the companies they do business with to be good stewards of their personal data. Very important. Customers are not going to give their data and information to organizations that they don't trust with their data. And this not only includes contact and payment details, Kevin, but also the likes of purchase history. A recent survey found that 35% of customers would actually would stop shopping at a store altogether if their data was hacked. 33% of customers say that they're more likely to shop with a retailer when they know their data is secure. And while we're seeing continuous development in online security technology, given data breaches and hacks continue to threaten data integrity across all industries, and it's therefore key for companies to transparently communicate how their data is used. And the final trend number 10, is the metaverse as a battleground for customer experience. The introduction of the metaverse has obviously provided brands with new ways to deliver these great experiences and develop their transformation strategies. It's therefore important that brands do actually spend time exploring and learning how others are engaging in the metaverse, as this is another one of those continuously evolving customer experience trends and spaces, Kevin.
So, Greg, as we enter sure, if I can learn how to talk in today's show. As we end today, what are the key takeaways points for that you can share with the listeners?
So, Kevin, the takeaway points are from another article on the topic. This article titled 5 CX Trends in 2024 Everyone Needs to Know About. The article was written by Wim Oliman and was published on the 10th of July this year to McCoyPartners.com. McCoy & Partners is a Dutch business management consulting firm. Some interesting stuff on their sites worth visiting. And the blog article opens with the following paragraph, which reads as follows. Customer experience has become a crucial factor in business success, and it's constantly evolving. If there's one thing we've learned from the past, it's how meaningful human contact is, and I really like that proposition. As we approach 2024, organizations must stay ahead by anticipating trends and meeting customer expectations. So the first trend here is hyper-personalization takes the stage, and you'll see obviously there's a correlation to the previous article. These are the trends that we're going to see really evolve into next year as well. Consumers want you to meet them where they are, and one of the best tactics to outsmart the competition is to use hyper-personalization. So in 2024, hyper-personalization will continue to dominate customer experience strategies, which means that it's vital for companies to use the likes of these advanced data analytics and intelligence, artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to gather data and really profile their customers in detail. This will allow them to deliver more personalized experiences from the likes of a tailored product recommendation all the way through to individualized marketing campaigns to the audience of one. Trend 2 is omni-channel experiences become the norm. Yes, customer support is only one piece of the journey. Customers expect a consistent experience across all of the touch points, whether it's in-store, online, or on their mobile devices. In 2024, we're going to see the focus being on perfecting that omni-channel experience to provide customers with a seamless transition between the different platforms. And organizations need to invest in these technologies, Kevin, that enable real-time synchronization of all of its customer data, allowing them to deliver personalized and contextually relevant interactions, regardless of the channels. Trend 3 is the rise of voice and visual search. Voice and visual search technologies are definitely still gaining popularity and will do so into 2024. They'll significantly impact on customer experience. Voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant will become more intelligent and more integrated with the various devices, leading to voice-based interactions becoming the norm. Visual search capabilities powered by AI and computer vision, interesting concept, will also enable customers to search for products by simply taking a photo or uploading an image. And here companies will definitely need to optimize their websites and their mobile apps to accommodate these new search methods, Kevin. Trend 4 is augmented reality and virtual reality enhanced engagement. As we mentioned a short while ago, they will continue to transform the way customers interact with brands. Businesses will continue to leverage these technologies into 2024 to create more immersive experiences that engage and captivate the audience. And by embracing AR and VR, companies can definitely bridge the gap between the physical and the virtual digital realms, giving customers many, many more layers of unforgettable experience. And the final trend moving into 2024 is more focus on ethical and sustainable practices. It's a real positive trend moving into 2024, and that customers are becoming much more conscious of social and environmental impact on their purchase decisions, placing huge pressure on businesses to align their customer experience strategies with the ethical and sustainable business practices. And organizations that prioritize this transparency, Kevin, that focus on ethical sourcing and environmental responsibility and social initiatives will definitely gain a competitive advantage. And by integrating these values into their customer experiences, companies can build much deeper trust, foster loyalty, and attract more customers. And the article concludes with the question, what's next? And the closing paragraph answers this point that says, as we step into 2024, customer experience continues to evolve, driven by technological advancement and shifting customer expectations, embracing hyper-personalization, perfecting omni-channel experiences, leveraging voice and visual search, harnessing AI and VR technologies, and prioritizing ethical and sustainable practices are all key trends that will define successful customer experiences in the upcoming year. And I came across a quote which really sums it up perfectly, Kevin. It says, rather than think about the stages of a customer's journey, think about what parts of the experience end up heavily weighted in a customer's mind and invest in those. Yeah, I can't recall where I found that quote, but it really stood out for me. And it's just really through understanding your customers more deeply, you'll understand what are the components that weigh in the customer's mind and give you the direction on where you need to invest. And those are the key takeaway points for today.
Amazing, Craig. Yeah, thank you for that. I was just listening to all of these, and there are such like trend number one, hyper personalization takes the stage. I was discussing in some coaching with a client this week, and that we were just discussing the point of value exchange. Like, how do you understand when you're exchanging value? Instead of just being an employee, like, are you exchanging value?
Yeah.
And just understanding, when you think in terms of what is the value that I'm bringing to this moment, the value that I'm bringing to this brand, the value that I'm bringing to this customer. When you start speaking that kind of language and frame it that way, you immediately start going, okay, cool. Then, how would I then start showing up? How do I then tackle,
Yes.
this approach that I'm usually taking? Because we get caught up in that usual way of doing stuff. But when you think of value, suddenly it changes how you engage, right? And to the point, like the a quote that I found here that I'm sure you're going to love is from Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, said, "Get closer than ever to your customers. So close, you tell them what they need well before they realize it themselves."
Yeah, that's
right?
yeah, that's not social listening, that's social directive. Yeah, but that's fantastic, because when you are that close, you get to understand them in a way that they don't even realize you understand them in.
But also, and I think that's the case about just having, for example, having chief innovation officers in place and kind of going, what is innovative and what is happening in that space, so you perhaps your chief experience officer and innovations officer work hand in hand so that you can create the future of what that business could do for your brand.
Yep.
So I'm like, I think these are fantastic points, and I absolutely love them. Guys, you can catch the Lunchtime series on YouTube, as well as all your major podcast channels, and on ebizradio.com every Wednesday and Thursday around 12 o'clock. Craig, thank you so much. Have a fantastic week, and I will speak to you later.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, look forward to it.
Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.